Afternoon, everybody. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with you on 13 News Now Plus, tracking our wet Sunday here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina as the heavy rain we saw starting to really taper off, but the chill, I can feel it in the air. If you step outside, you'll notice that compared to this morning, if you were outside earlier, that it is much cooler as you're out and about through Hampton Roads today. So let's talk more about this weather impact alert that we have in effect for this afternoon as these conditions continue to deteriorate here through your Sunday. We will see the potential for some snow developing across our area for today. Again, we are watching for those rain showers to become snow showers for the afternoon and evening. And in just a moment, I'll show you just the live radar and what I'm seeing actively. And then the biggest thing that will be the main impact after the rain and snow move out is that anything that is slushy or wet will freeze over as temperatures this evening through the overnight into early tomorrow morning drop off into the 20s. So overall, a very messy second day of the weekend as I am tracking some of the effects of not one but two cold fronts that are sitting over the area for today. What we will see later on after the fronts is a lot of sunshine, but we have to get through the brunt of the event first. We did have, again, that heavier rainfall just a couple of hours ago. Now we're starting to see the colder air seep in. Again, you can feel the difference, at least for someone who, like me, was up at 5 in the morning here at 13 News Now, and just going outside, the chill is noticeable. So the colder air finally starting to seep in here to Hampton Roads. Now we do have active winter storm alerts just to the north of our area. It's going to be for the Middle Peninsula, Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, heading into the Delmarva Peninsula. Those areas in purple. No one in Hampton Roads or northeastern North Carolina is in that winter storm alert at all, winter weather advisory, just because it is due to the amount of snow that you could see in those areas in purple, maybe up to 2 inches, but I think that even so, maybe an inch for most places at best. This will be a very minimal snowfall event for the mid-Atlantic, at least. Some places up I-95 through Philly and into the northeast. They definitely saw some snow yesterday and saw some this morning. Now here's a look at the satellite and radar, and it's looking like the snow is still holding back as around 1 p.m. I will say the models were showing the mix over starting around 1:30 to 2, so we should at least see something, and it looks like the mix is starting to happen still well west of Richmond, near Seneca into South Boston and Union Hall. So between I-81 and I-95 is kind of where the heart of the mix is at the moment. Still experiencing, though, some heavier rainfall here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. We will see that heavy rainfall continuing over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. So let's take it from north to south. Right now, from the eastern shore through the northern neck, middle peninsula, and peninsula, the heavy rainfall is to mainly the south in places like Hampton and Newport News. But area-wide, we are still experiencing that rainfall. Here is a heavy rain over the south side at the moment. Virginia Beach through Norfolk, Chesapeake, heading into Suffolk and Franklin. I am tracking some of that heavier rainfall, and right now I'm going to get a little bit of a estimate on how much rainfall is falling, and right now about an inch per hour, just less than an inch per hour, 3/4 of an inch. Heading into Norfolk, much lighter rainfall there, 3/10 of an inch per hour. So that means that if this rain band was to sit over Norfolk for an hour, we would get a quarter of an inch, basically. If this rain band was over Mapleton for an hour, we would pick up almost an inch of rainfall. So it is heavy rainfall at times. You can see that goes through Kings Fork in Suffolk, Russell, Nerney, down into Elwood, Franklin, Kingsdale, Sunbeam, and heading to the Virginia-North Carolina border. Now for northeastern North Carolina, we have multiple bands of heavy rain. So I'm going to take it from northwest to southeast. Reynoldston, Tar Heel, Murfreesboro, Winton, Ahoskie, Mittensville, Kellogg Fork, Core Peak. We're seeing the heavy rainfall moving through now. Some areas of some lighter rainfall in Gregory and Elizabeth City, but South Mills and Moyock seeing some heavy rainfall at the moment too. The second band is through Water Lily, down through Riddle, Durant, and into the northern banks of the Albemarle Sound. So a very messy afternoon continues for us after we did have a messier morning. Now, one thing I didn't do on the last stream is show the air temperatures at the moment, and I want to show those now because, like I said, there was a bit more of a chill to the air here in Hampton Roads compared to where we were this morning. So looking here at our temperatures, they've stayed pretty stagnant. We're seeing some of those upper 30s now for Richmond and Tappahannock, but still in Norfolk and Virginia Beach, we're in the middle 40s. Same for Newport News and Hampton. Lower 40s for Saluda, West Point, Melfa, Ahoskie, and Franklin. Mid 40s for Elizabeth City through Eatonton, Manio, and Currituck. So the atmosphere right now, because temperatures are in the mid 40s, cannot support snowfall at this point. The longer this cold air lingers, the less amount of snow we'll get. I want to see a regional view of the temperatures at the moment because that will give me a chance to see where the cold air is sitting here now. And it looks like it, even for Charlottesville, it's still in the upper 30s. So that cold air is struggling to make it through parts of Virginia. So don't expect the biggest snowmaker. And I wouldn't be surprised if, when we look at the newest models now, if they bring down some of those snowfall totals that we had from earlier, even though they were already dwindling to begin with. So cold temperatures near the mountains, of course, higher elevations would, support the colder temperatures. But we were expecting temperatures to, start to fall just a little bit by this time, just because the model suggested that some mix over in the snow was likely by about 1-ish. So here we go, looking ahead to the rest of your day so you know how to plan out your day here. If I was you, I would stay home. Just because it is a mess outside, and then once it starts to turn into that wet snow, even more of a mess, it's just best if you can stay inside to stay inside. If you have to go outside, just be careful. It's not, again, road conditions aren't slick this afternoon. But any type of wet weather can be a little bit of a deterrent, can be a little bit of a mess maker for the roads. So let's go ahead and look at 1:45 to 2 p.m. And you can see that the the graph model shows that mix over already by 2 o'clock, but I'm not seeing that. And I want to talk about what this is real quick. This is what we're going to call initialization, and I'll show you in real time what that means. Initialization is a process of comparing what the forecast models have for what's happening now compared to the radar. So the graph model has snowfall occurring in Tappahannock, Richmond, and West Point with rainfall everywhere else. Here's a look at our current radar and satellite right now. to compare it to the graph model's estimates of what's happening. And you can see that while we are seeing the rainfall for the majority of Hampton Roads, the snowfall is just starting to begin here in Tappahannock. It hasn't really even made it to Richmond just quite yet, but it's just starting to begin. So I will say that the graph model, while it is getting the majority of the situation correct, it's accounting for too much cold air at the moment, because it also said that temperatures would be in the upper 30s, and we are seeing that there in Richmond and Tappahannock, and we're just now starting to see that switch over into snow. And I'll go back to the satellite and radar so I can zoom in on those places where we're starting to see that mix over now. So we zoom in here, and you can see through Valley Lee, down through Tappahannock and Bowling Green, this is a little bit of snow. Let's see if I can take off the infrared. There we go. So it shows a little bit better here, but you can see that the snow is just now starting, and also starting to mix from rain to snow in Ashland, but not really too much in Richmond quite yet. So the graph model is doing pretty well. Could be better because the snow is not as far south as it's showing on the current radar as it estimates. As you see, it's saying it should be through West Point and all throughout Richmond now. So while it's not doing a terrible job, it's not doing the best job. Again, that comparison we did between the radar and what the model is saying right now, that's called initialization. And that's a process meteorologists use to see how accurate the forecast model is. A lot of times, if the models are way off, there's been instances where for example, the GFS model, the American model, shows no rain at the moment. But the radar is showing, scattered showers. We would say, let's not use the GFS for today. It's not doing a good job handling the situation. Let's switch over to the Euro. Let's switch over to the NAM. Let's switch over to the high resolution rapid refresh. That's how we try to give you the most accurate information, is by comparing the models to what's actually happening in real time. Because remember, each model is a different solution to the same problem. They're all taking into account that we have these cold fronts in our area that are pumping in moisture, but also building in cold air along and behind those fronts. Does the cold air get there in time? Does it not? How fast does the front move? Is there enough moisture? There's so many questions, and each model has a different answer, a different set of answers for the same set of questions. And so that's why we do have those different models. It does help when you are trying to do model comparisons to try to nail down the accuracy and reliability of a forecast. But in instances like this, when we're in real-time forecasting, this is mainly for making sure that the models are keeping up with the actual event. Okay, so all that being said, graph model is doing okay, could do better. The cold air hasn't really seeped in too far. So right now, widespread rain through about 2 to 3 p.m. You can see that the rain starts to become snow, and by 5 o'clock, that's when that snowfall really starts to come through the peninsulas, the western and central south side. But if you live in northeastern North Carolina, don't expect much in the way of snowfall, as temperatures will stay in the lower to middle 40s. We get into the evening time here, taking you through about 6:30, 6:45, and the last bits of snow are starting to move out already. This is a very quick event. We're not talking an all-day event. This is maybe, with the snow, probably about 3, maybe 4 hours. We're not talking through the night at all. This will taper off fairly quickly. So Eastern Shore, Virginia Beach, you'll be the last places to see some of those flurries or snow showers before this system moves all that rain and snow out to sea. Could there be a lingering flurry? Sure, that chance is fairly low. And then by the time we get to around 9 o'clock, we're dry, but still cloudy. Temperatures, though, will drop off. We're going to see that push of cold air continue, so we'll see temperatures around freezing later on this evening, around 9:15 to 9:30. Once we get into your midnight to 1 a.m. hours, temperatures continue to plummet to the 20s and 30s, where we wake up tomorrow morning and everybody is in the 20s. That is why my concern then turns to the fact that we do have the potential for black ice. Anything that is slushy, anything that is wet will freeze. If you have fragile plants, you need to bring them inside. For your pets, you need to make sure that they are indoors as well. Make sure to check on your vulnerable neighbors, making sure they have heat or some place to stay with heat, just because it will be a very chilly night. Overall, though, for those who are wondering what it looks like in terms of snowfall potential, the graph model is still hanging on to maybe a tenth of an inch for the south side, to up to maybe 2-3 tenths of an inch. For the peninsulas, up to maybe half an inch to an inch at best. At best, the inch is really pushing it. Let's look at the other models and see if they've kind of come into better alignment for today. And yes, finally, the GFS model taking away those 2+ inch estimates and replacing them with maybe an inch. And I still think that's overdoing it for the area, but at least it's starting to kind of come back into alignment with other models in this case. The North American model, the NAM, is showing maybe 2/10 of an inch to up to 6-7 tenths of an inch. Then you get to the European model, and we're seeing dusting up to maybe an inch if there's some heavier bands to our west in those darker blue areas. Otherwise, again, this is not going to be a pretty big snowmaker at all, and it has to do with two things. One, because we already had rain all day today, that's going to make it more of a slush. Two, because the ground temperatures are still in the 40s, it's going to take a while for them to cool down and allow things to stick. We may see some sticking on our vegetation, like a dusting on our vegetation, but that is about it. So again, just not a very big snowmaker, but anything that is slushy or wet will freeze overnight, and that could cause the potential for some black ice. Now, for those who may be heading out and about tomorrow for MLK Day, whether you have to go to work or whether you're going to do some service projects or commemorate the holiday, this is what it looks like for tomorrow. We're going to start off in the upper 20s, and then by the afternoon, we're going to make it into the middle 40s with a lot of sunshine still coming through. That sunshine, though, struggling to kind of rebound is back to normal. Normal for this time of year is right at 50 degrees. And so temperatures will hover just about 5 degrees below that. So a seasonably cool day, but it is going to be a very chilly start. So for those who are heading out to service projects, and the service projects are outdoors, you need to wear the layers. You need to have the gloves, the hat, the scarves. You need to have layers, just because it will be a very cold day. For those who may be out here joining me now and listening to this, we are underneath a weather impact alert for today, as that, excuse me, as those cold fronts that I showed over the course of the past morning and early afternoon have shown that we are going to see these rainmakers bring us a chance for the potential of a mix over into some snow. I want to give you another look at your weather impact alert for today, and you can see that through Sunday afternoon and evening, which is now through the evening time, we have the weather impact alert in effect for rain showers that become snow showers, especially for those who live in and around the peninsulas. But the main concern is anything that is slushy, anything that is wet will freeze on the roads overnight as temperatures plummet to the 20s area-wide. Some places inland will be in the near the upper teens. So it will be a chilly, chilly night. So watch for slick spots on the roads. Again, the good news is I feel like we will have a very abnormal traffic day because it is a holiday. A lot of our federal employees are off. And that makes up a good percentage of the workforce here in Hampton Roads. But in lieu of that, we do have people who go to service projects on MLK Day to honor his legacy. And so there will be people out on the roads at some point. Just be very careful. And by the afternoon, we make it back into the middle 40s. So anything that freezes overnight will melt tomorrow morning. But we also have the potential, if it doesn't evaporate, for those things to refreeze on Monday night and a Tuesday. And Tuesday will be the coldest day of the next 7 as temperatures continue to plummet through the early work week. So here's another look at our radar to show you what's going on. Haven't seen much of a mix over into snow quite yet, but we didn't look at that radar for the past 5 to 10 minutes, so we'll go back to that to see what's happening now. You can see that we have 2 fronts, and it looks like our second front just dissolved. The one that is to the on the left side of your screen, the western front, and I'll point it out here. Looks like this front just dissolved and fell apart. So it's now this front we're focused on, but still pulling in a lot of moisture. That black dotted line is an upper level system that's helping to aid in this process for this kind of dreary day. But we are seeing widespread rain, no snow in the immediate area now. I am starting to see that switch over to snow heading north and east of Richmond. So let's go ahead and zoom in again to see what's happening, and I'll put it on now. So rain still in Richmond, but as you head towards Tappahannock, it's starting to become some snow there. And that's about it. The rest of the area is rain. So looking again at what you're seeing in terms of rainfall, widespread light to moderate rainfall for the peninsulas, heading down into northeastern North Carolina and the south side, and northeastern North Carolina, seeing some very heavy rainfall at the moment. Some rainfall rates up to 1 inch per hour, so it could be heavy at times. Just be careful. But all the south side seeing rain at the moment, and stay with northeastern North Carolina. So really there is not a place untouched by rain here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, but eventually that should become some flurries, at least for the peninsulas and south side. Northeastern North Carolina, you may just be a little too far south and have temperatures just a little too warm to see those snow showers. So again, walking you through your day today, we are seeing the snow shower potential building in fairly quickly for places around the peninsulas. That will be in the course of the next hour or 2. For the south side, it's not going to really be until around 4 to 5 p.m. So still some time to, if you have to get outdoors and do some shopping, before temperatures start to drop, it gets chilly, it starts to snow. You do have a couple more hours until the actual snow flurries start to fly according to the graph model. Then we get into around 6 p.m. and the whole system starts to slide to the east. Rain still ongoing for places around the Albemarle Sound and the Outer Banks. Temperatures in the 30s for the south side and peninsulas, and lower 40s for northeastern North Carolina. Later on tonight, by 8 p.m., all the wet weather out to sea. We'll see temperatures in the lower to upper 30s, with overnight temperatures dropping significantly to the lower 20s inland and upper 20s, maybe a couple of upper 20s to lower 30s around the Outer Banks. That's about it. Again, snowfall totals, very minimal, maybe a dusting, maybe for some places north and west could maybe be up to 1 inch, and some pockets of that heavier snowfall if those bands come through, but it will have a hard time sticking to the ground because the ground is warmer than freezing. It's already been pre-treated by VDOT, and because it started off as rain, that slush, it will just mainly turn into a slush, probably more than anything. But that slush has the likelihood of refreezing overnight, so be careful as you're heading over to service projects or work tomorrow morning. Here's one last look at your day tomorrow for your Monday, for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. You see the rain ongoing now here at Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina from our Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview. Temperatures during the afternoon will climb to the middle 40s after a start in the upper 20s. So just be careful. again, we're talking fairly minor impacts from this system, but you can see, and I'll zoom this back out, you can see that it's actively raining here in Norfolk from our Nauticus camera. So people outside with their umbrellas, looks like they're heading, towards the cruise boat, or around the cruise boat. So here's a look at your 5 to 7 day forecast, and this will show you the huge drop in temperatures will take from now through Tuesday. We're seeing temperatures dropping today. Our weather impact alert in effect for today as the rain transitions over into snow. Tomorrow, starting off in the 20s, afternoon in the middle 40s. We'll have a lot of sunshine, though, for your MLK Day. By Tuesday, the cold air really starts to settle in. Highs at best just a few degrees above freezing in the upper 30s after another start in the mid-20s. We are going to have some unseasonably cool mornings where temperatures will start off in the 20s, afternoons will be in the 40s. That continues through Wednesday with sunshine as well. By Thursday, our next system approaches the area, and this system could bring us the opportunity for some rain once again on Thursday as we get into late Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Now, what I will say is that temperatures will be the warmest this week on Thursday, but the long-range models show a significant cool down next week. So starting a week from today, where temperatures may struggle to make it out of the upper 30s for afternoon high temperatures. Also, one last thing to say about this 7 day forecast is the potential for maybe some wintry mix on Sunday morning. It depends on how much moisture is lingering behind a front that comes through Saturday into Sunday. But the temperatures at this point, as far as we know, will be in the 20s and 30s. So it is possible that any wet weather on next Sunday, not this Sunday, but a week from today, could maybe be a little bit of a wintry mix. But keep close to the forecast as we nail that down. Otherwise, again, one last look at your radar right now. And this radar shows that the majority of the area just seeing the heavy rainfall and snow starting to mix over in places like Tappahannock and getting closer to Richmond. I will say it's picking up pretty well, though. But right now, just ongoing rainfall for our area. And again, the weather impact alert is in effect today through this evening as we prepare for the rain to become snow over the course of the next few hours. And what you need to do is watch out for slick spots, as anything that is wet or slushy will refreeze overnight, creating some not ideal conditions. And I know that local principalities, local areas are preparing for the potential of black ice. So just be careful as you're driving through Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. That's what I have for you today. And again, try your best to stay dry and try your best also to stay off the roads if you can, and just enjoy a nice day inside while the snow may start to fall over the course of the next 3 to 4 hours. And the rain starts to move through as well. Again, by the time we get to around 8 o'clock, all that winter weather and wet weather should be out of our hair, but we're expecting a cold night followed by a cool afternoon tomorrow for MLK Day. Have a very safe MLK weekend. Make sure, again, that your plants are protected, your pets are inside, that your vulnerable people are also taken care of. And just check on the neighbor and say, hey, are you good? I know it's going to be a cold night. How can I help? That's all in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So again, I hope that you all have a safe and happy holiday weekend and stay dry as best you can. For now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and meteorologist Hunter Forrest will join you this evening to track the rest of this rain and snow event. Have a great day.